This presentation is on 90-90-90 schools. Some objectives for what we'll talk about are, we will know what a 90-90-90 school is, what strategies 90-90-90 schools use, and why other schools can implement these strategies, what characteristics distinguish schools with these great academic gains. A 90-90-90 school is a term that was originally coined by Douglas Reeves in 1995 based on his observations in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The schools he observed had been identified with 90% or more of the students were eligible for free and reduced lunch, 90% or more of the students were members of ethnic minority groups, and 90% or more of the students met the district or state academic standards in reading or another area. Since Reeves' observations, the term 90-90-90 has been broadly applied to describe successful academic performance in schools with significant numbers of poor and minority students. This graph shows the common assumptions of minority students who are on free and reduced lunch and their proficiency level. As you can see, this graph leaves no room for students in the upper right-hand corner that have high academic achievement and high poverty and high minority enrollments. Some common characteristics of high-achieving schools are a focus on academic achievement. Their hallways are always full of charts, graphs, and tables that display student achievement information, as well as data about the continuous improvements students had made. It is clear to the most casual observer that the academic performance was highly prized. The schools have a clear curriculum choice. They emphasize the core skills of reading, writing, and mathematics in order to improve student opportunities for success in a wide variety of other academic endeavors later. Even with the disproportionate emphasis on language arts and mathematics, they still significantly outperform their peer schools on science tests. Frequent assessment of student progress and multiple opportunities for improvement. Students at these schools are given multiple opportunities to improve performance. They have weekly assessments of student progress administered by classroom teachers. They have the belief that they will not wait till next year to improve, but they can do better on a week-by-week basis. Nonfiction writing, they have an emphasis on that. They require written responses and performance assessments. They believe that these assessments help teachers obtain a better diagnostic for information about students. They help the students to demonstrate their thinking process that they employ to find their response to an academic challenge. And they have one rubric that applies to all written work throughout the year. They have collaborative scoring of student work. Teachers are regularly exchanging students' papers. One teacher will exchange papers with another teacher. Principals will exchange papers with another school. This is one of the most powerful research findings, is that principals take personal responsibility for evaluating students' work. Some techniques used by the schools are they are persistent. The students are still poor and their economic opportunities haven't improved, but still more than 90% of the students in these schools continue to meet or exceed state standards. They are replicable. The first time the district tracked these schools, only 7 90-90 schools were identified. In the most recent report, 13 schools met the criteria for this distinguished label. And these schools are consistent. They are consistent in the following areas. They're consistent in writing. Their students write frequently in a variety of subjects. They're persistent in their performance assessment. They're persistent in collaboration. The teachers are always collaborating about student work, and the student work is their focus of discussion. And they are consistent in their focus. Teachers in these schools do not try to do it all, but are highly focused on learning. There are 9 distinguishing characteristics of 90-90-90 schools. The first is the impact of collaboration. Devoted time for teacher collaboration focuses on examination of work. Another character is the value of feedback. Frequent feedback to students is one of their key goals. They believe in giving more than just a report card or a grade printout. The impact of time. In elementary school, 3 hours of time in the day is given to literacy, 2 hours is given to reading, and 1 hour is given to writing. In secondary schools, they provide double periods of English and math. Another characteristic is action research and mid-course corrections. They have no year plan, just guides. Teachers change their techniques based on other successes throughout the year. Another characteristic is aligning teacher assignments with teacher prep. Principals have made impressive gains by reassigning teachers to different grades within the same school. Instead of dismissing faculty because test scores are down, they just reassign a teacher to another grade, and they have seen significant improvement within teachers. The sixth characteristic is constructive data analysis. They are less interested in comparing last year's fourth grade class to this year's, but rather comparing the same student to the same student. Comparing students to themselves allows teachers to focus strategies on the needs of their students and not on a generic improvement. Number 7 is the common assessment. Testing and assessments are totally different. Testing is at the end of the year with a long wait for feedback. An assessment, you can get quick feedback that is designed to improve the student performance. Number 8 is the value of every adult in the system. These schools employ the resources of every adult. They have profound respect for every employee, including bus drivers and cafeteria workers. The student's day doesn't begin in the classroom, but on the bus or during free breakfast, which is why they make sure to value these other employees. And the last distinguishing characteristic is cross-disciplinary integration. They have explicit involvement of the subjects that are frequently and systematically disregarded in traditional accountability systems, like music, art, physical education, world languages, technology, career education, consumer and family education. An example of this explicit involvement is when students are struggling with fractions in the classroom. Music teachers can work on relationships of whole notes, half notes, and quarter notes. Art teachers work on perspective and other representational art that makes explicit use of scale. And PE teachers allow a student to either run a millimeter or a kilometer. This is a lesson that they are for sure to never forget. Now that we've learned all this great things about 90-90-90 schools and how we can try to start implementing them into our classroom, I just want you to remember that the keys to improved academic achievement are not professional practices of teachers and leaders, not the economic, ethnic, or linguistic characteristics of the students. So it's all about the professionals and what we do to help our students.